Hi folks, welcome to another Boats and Bits. In this episode I'm going to cover the Elfin EW10 It's an RS232 to Wi-Fi adapter. You get it for about 10 quid on Aliexpress, dirt cheap. You may ask, what am I actually going to do with this in my boat? Well, let's find out. So on my boat I have a wind instrument up at the top which is wireless, so it goes down to a wee receiver, and that receiver spits out RS232. It's actually NMEA 183, but it uses the RS232 protocol. So the plan here is whenever that spins down the wind information, we'll be able to plug this in. So it actually hooks in like this here, and I have it hooked into my chart plotter at the minute, just to demonstrate with the AIS. And as you can see, there's 4 ports at the back, and this kind of clips in like a wee Ethernet, so it goes in like that there. So this all comes with it. So we have 2 wires here, power. So we've got positive, negative, and then we've got I've got the negative from the chart plotter for the AIS out, which is the blue wire, so you can see that, and the orange wire is the AIS transmit, so that's the TX. So I'm actually routing that through. So if you take a look at you'll see RX or B. It's also got TX, so the RX is the ones which you send the TX out of the other, so that's going from the TX out of my chart plotter, and the the TX then would be the input of the chart plotter or whatever else you wanted to feed NMEA information into. In this case I'm just testing here, and what the plan will be is to have my wind coming into the RX, spinning it out and sending it over to my Naughty control box. If you've seen some of the other videos, it's basically a C-Talk to Wi-Fi. It also has wee wireless remote control for controlling autopilots and all the rest. So my plan is, so it'll be able to actually convert my NMEA 183 from the wind instrument to C-Talk, which will then be using my ST1000, 2000 autopilots. So you'll be able to sail by, set it to automatically go by the wind direction. But in this episode, I'm just obviously in the workbench here, so I'm going to work with what I've got, which is the Onwa chart plotter, which I've covered in a couple of other videos. It does spit out NMEA out, so I can test this here. So in this, I'm doing AIS. So what we're going to do now is show the AIS and how to set it up in the actual software. So it's got a wee web interface. It works as like an access point. We can actually connect to other routers and things like that there, but in this case, I'm just going to connect to this directly. What we're going to do then is show you how to set the baud ratings and things like that there. So let's head on over to the laptop now and do a bit of a screen share and show you how all that works. Okay, so we have logged onto our laptop here and just make sure the Wi-Fi is connected. So as this is working as an access point, it has an EW10 and a few digits. You'll see the EW10 anyway. Yours may differ, but if we connect to that, there's no password. So then if I go to the web address, which is 10.10.100.254, and then the username and password will come up, and that's admin, and then we'll get to this nice wee web interface. So basically the first page is status, and it gives us some information. System settings kind of covers your username and password, so you can change your username and passwords, host name, DHCP, and things like that there. Things you can do then is, obviously I'm setting this up as an access point, but you can actually do it as an app and then actually connect to another Wi-Fi, so you can actually have it running as a server and a client. So as you can see here, they've got all that cool stuff here. So at the minute I'm just going to keep it as that. And then if I go to serial port settings, and this is where you plug in your details for whatever serial device or NMEA 8183 device you're doing. Now I have this set up already for the chart plotter. It came with instructions that said it needed to be 38400, which seems to work. So it's 81 and none for the party. Now most devices will be 4800 for NMEA or 9600. The chart plotter seems to be pumping out a lot of information. I'll show you that shortly. These other things I don't really touch, the buffers and things like that, there's not really anything I need to worry about, so everything else can be left the same. These baud rates should be available in your documentation. Advanced settings, again, this is stuff I'll probably not be touching, so there's no custom stuff there. So we can do a backup, so the configurations, firmware upgrades, so if you go onto the Elfin website, you can get upgrades, things like that there, and you can do restarts. So that's kind of a quick summary, very easy to use. What we'll do now is show a quick example of how it's all linked into OpenCPN. So basically connect this laptop over TCPIP to the wee hardware device, which is connected to my AIS output on the Onwa. So again, you can see the wiring, orange, which is the TX. Well, I'll show you this is the wiring here, so it kind of gives you that. So you've the yellow ones in, the negatives that we just all put to the same negative anyway. So the blue's AIS out, and the green is NMEA 183 out. So the what do you call it? The blue and the orange seem to pump out the same thing in my testing, but you may want to check that there. If you have other things like the transducer and stuff on one of the fancier models, it'll pump that data out as well. So at the minute, I have this set up, and I've got one of the wee dongles outside, and you can see my Freebird there. And if I zoom in, you can kind of see the boat here on the screen. Obviously moving about a bit just with the GPS signal a bit weak. But what we'll do now is hook up OpenCPN. So I'm going to put it back to the screen share, and we shall see how that works and how to set it up, and then see if the AIS data comes up via TCPIP onto the OpenCPN screen. So let's go back over to the laptop. Okay, so here we have OpenCPN. So I'll go in and show you the settings. I've set this up already. Go in here, settings. And it's just down here. So what I've done is add a connection. And if we look here, you can see what I've set. So TCP 10.10.100.254 for the address, data port 8899. That all can be reconfigured in the setup that I showed you previously. The rest of these here can just be left to the defaults. So if I hit apply, if I actually just go up to the top, show NMEA debug window, and then hit OK. What you'll see here is us actually getting some of the actual stuff across from the chart plotter. I have nothing else plugged in, no GPS or anything, so all the GPS data and AIS data is coming from the chart plotter. So if I click on my boat to get this centered, get this out of the way, so we'll actually see our boat here. This is the red one, and then you'll see this here, the wee green one. So we click here, AIS, yeah, so we can click target query, and you'll see here, so it says I'm 20 meters away, which is maybe a bit optimistic. It's just sitting outside the door, but yes, you'll see that the data is coming through perfectly well. This obviously bring through any NMEA data, so if you had wind and stuff like that, that would all show up. This is just one example, and I'll probably show some more examples later on, not in this video, but when I get my naughty control box on the boat, what I'll show is the wind control and the autopilot. If you haven't checked it out, I have another channel, Naughty Control, covers all that project that I do. It's all very techy, but you can get the boxes pre-made and with all the firmware and all stuff on, so you don't have to actually worry about the source code, but it is open source, so you can check it out. But yeah, you can see here all the, I assume these here, the VDOs are the, what do you call it? The AIS ones, and then the GSV, RMC and stuff like that. There's all just the navigational stuff. So as you can see, it works very well. So that's the setup for OpenCPN. What I want to also show now, just very quickly, is Navionics. So I use Navionics on my phone and my tablets and things like that there. So if you have Navionics and have a AIS chart plotter or something like that there with some output, and it'd be useful maybe if you've got the chart plotter in the cabin and you want to see the AIS when you're outside, then I'll show you how this goes. Now I've already set up, but if you go to menu, so you go to menu, which brings up this, and then I go to paired devices, and you'll see I'll have one here called Elfin. So you can just hit the wee add button top right. Now if I do that, so I've got all the settings set up. So if you take a look, I have name Elfin, host 10.10.100.254, which is what we seen earlier, and the port 8899. So I hit save. Now it's saying disconnected. The reason why I'm saying that is because I haven't connected to the Wi-Fi. So if I connect to the Wi-Fi, yeah, so if I reconnected the thing, connected to the Wi-Fi, and it is now showing connected, and you can see AIS receiving data, and external GPS receiving data. So the chart plotters actually, I thought the output would have only sent AIS, but yeah, it has proven both OpenCPN and Navionics that it does spit out that other information as well. And just to show the actual, so if I zoom out, you can kind of see there, if I click on it, so if I hover over it, I can see Freebird, and then if I click the boat name, it shows up at the bottom. So yeah, so that's how you get NMEA data onto your Navionics. Now Navionics, I've noticed, only supports GPS and AIS. I've tried wind, depth and everything else through various contraptions and none of them work. But yes, for this experiment I just wanted to show AIS. I've also picked up another version, the version 11. It's slightly different in that it's RS485, so be very careful when you're buying. Do not buy the EW11A thinking it's better. It's actually different. It uses RS485. The reason I'm buying it is for a Modbus device I've picked up that I'm hoping to showcase in the future. Basically wind instrument, so very, very cheap, but it uses a different protocol, so I'm hoping to build some way of converting it to be usable in the boat. But yes, thanks again for watching, folks. The Elfin is definitely very cheap at £10. I'll stick a link down below. But yes, very useful if you need to get NMEA data across your boat, such as AIS as I've shown here. Well, thanks for watching. If you would like to click like and subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. And hopefully I'll see you all again soon. Cheers, thanks, bye.